This is the new Lexus RZ. It's the first ever Lexus that's been designed to be a pure electric car built from the ground up. In this video, you will learn everything you need to know about new RZ. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. That way you won't miss any of these breaking news videos. It's always interesting to watch the big automakers launch new electric cars. They value trends from new startups like Tesla and Lucid first, and then they adopt them with wealth of experience. Last year, Toyota launched the BZ4X, and Subaru supplemented the market with its Solterra. Basically, they are the same vehicles with different names and a couple of small distinctions. Except these ordinary crossovers have just one, two bright features. The Toyota version could be sold with a Tesla-like yoke as an option, and both cars have steering by wire. That means the steering wheel and rack are not directly connected. Otherwise, neither car is particularly special. Now, a version from Lexus has arrived on the same platform. If you think it's strange to sell the same model 3 times, the companies clearly disagree. In 2011, they pulled the same trick with the Subaru BRZ, Toyota 86 and Scion FRS, and it turned out well then. And at least we can see the differences this time. The design succeeds. Lexus RZ 450e looks exactly as you would expect a crossover from this company to look, but with a few changes just to be different. The body lines indicate kinship with the fuel-based Lexus RX. The front grille doesn't look absurd, and the rear, it looks as if it's from another car. The rear design doesn't really fit the rest of the body. At first, it's faintly conspicuous, but then you realize it's what a BMW X6 would look like if someone with a sense of taste was making it. Compare the back of the RZ and the X6. The exterior design is the biggest reason to choose a Lexus over a Toyota. The dynamics are also significantly improved. The RZ 450e is equipped with all-wheel drive from 2 motors with a total output of 313 horsepower. This is 50% more than Subaru and Toyota, where you pay extra for all-wheel drive. Thus, Lexus accelerates to 100 km/h in 5 and 6 seconds. That's good dynamics, until you find out the top speed is 160 km/h. If it makes you feel any better, Subaru and Toyota have the same dynamics. The companies haven't explained the reasons for such low limits. Maybe they're worried about safety, or maybe the internal components can't handle heavy loads for long periods. I'm leaning toward the latter option, if only because the RZ is built on the same platform as the more affordable models, meaning it's tied to the same 71 kWh battery. On the other hand, 160 km/h is high enough that it doesn't interfere with the typical RZ buyer. Such cars are often bought for city use, and there will hardly be many Germans among them who drive 400 km/h on the Autobahn every day. As for the Autobahn, it is not very suitable, because the range is declared 450 km, according to JWLTP measurements, or 360 km according to APA. That's 220 miles. Interestingly, Lexus claims that after 10 years of use, the battery will only lose 10% of its capacity. Apparently, they understand the struggle it will be to replace the battery, given that it is part of the structural rigidity. That's why they provide such a reliable battery to delay that process as long as possible. They like the status of bulletproof cars, and they will attract buyers from the aftermarket in the future. I would like to say that Lexus decided to value quality over quantity, but that's not the case with their battery capacity. People just want to charge less often. The RZ 450e is a car for the city and short intercity trips. Together with the platform, Lexus also adopted the suspension configuration. McPherson on the front axle, double wishbones behind. The simple enough scheme with improved shock absorbers will not be present in Toyota or Subaru models. Like Toyota, the new crossover has the option of replacing the conventional steering wheel with a yoke, a controversial decision. From the outside, it looks like the blind coping of a Tesla quirk that many people don't even like. But to make it easier to use, the yoke is steer-by-wire technology, so you don't have to make full turns. If I understand correctly, in parking lots and when making a U-turn, the electronic rail changes the setting and becomes much more sensitive. Numerically speaking, the extreme position of the wheels is reached in only 150 degrees of steering wheel turn. Very handy. In terms of interior, Lexus is following the set trend. Take Toyota and make it prettier. The company decided to use calmer lines so drivers and passengers inside feel more comfortable and spacious. In general, they succeeded. Under some angles, the new car looks especially good. However, in my opinion, the RZ 450e became a hostage of its own appearance. After a glance at the set of complex forms and curves, the interior looks somehow simple. The eye expects more details, especially in the back seats. After Toyota, a panoramic roof with shading appears there, and in front there is the same huge screen. In conclusion, the Lexus RZ 450e is very simple. If you put aside the lyrics and leave the dry facts, it is just a Toyota, just faster and more beautiful. There are no outstanding specs and complicated kinematics of suspension, but they aren't necessary for the target audience. In my opinion, it's for those people who need a beautiful accessory, able to drive them around town but rarely to the countryside nearby. More people are like that than you might think. There remains the question of price. Lexus did not disclose the amount for which they will sell the new RZ, considering that the Toyota BZ4X has MSRP of $42,000. You shouldn't expect less than $50,000 here. Whether it's worth, it is up to the buyer to decide. The Lexus RZ 450e is expected to go on sale later this year. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and click on that box there to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.